Chiron has just turned retrograde, but what does that mean for your life and your business? Let's dive in. Hi, my name is Catherine Hocking and I'm a modern business astrologer. And in this video, I want to talk to you about what Chiron Retrograde is all about and how you can align to it in both your life and your business. So Chiron has just turned retrograde, and in 2024, it's going to be retrograding back through the sign of Aries. Chiron is now considered to be a planet in astrology, and it represents the wounded healer. So it's named after a centaur named Chiron in mythology, and this centaur was immortal, but it was also injured, and so it had this predicament where it could not die, but it could not fully heal. So we think of Chiron as the wounded healer. And it's really this energy of accepting that we have wounds and limiting beliefs, but also knowing that we can use these wounds, these pains, these traumas to help others. So in terms of Chiron being retrograde, a retrograde is where the planet appears to move backwards in the sky. And so when a planet appears to move backwards or turn retrograde, often the energy that it expresses can be stalled for a while, can be repressed for a while. It can sometimes express in a reversed manner. Now, it's always important to note that if you were born when a certain planet is retrograde, so I was actually born when Chiron was retrograde, the energy of Chiron retrograde can actually feel quite natural to you because it's actually your natal energy. So it's always important to keep that in mind, that sometimes if you were born with that planet retrograde, the timings are actually reversed for you. So Chiron might express in its more typical fashion for me during Chiron retrograde. So Chiron retrogrades for approximately 6 months of the year. So we have half of the time Chiron being direct and half of the time Chiron being retrograde. In astrology, Chiron represents our core wound, or the most significant pain, trauma, or wound that we've experienced in this lifetime. Typically, we find that it occurs in early childhood. However, my Chiron wound appears to be more linked to an event that happened in my early 20s. So Chiron represents 3 things in our chart. It represents our core wound, our path to healing, and once we've done a lot of that healing, how we can help support and heal others. It is something that we have to learn to live with, we have to learn to accept, but we can also then help others through that same process. So in the 2024 retrograde of Chiron, it's retrograding through Aries. This retrograde asks us to take direct action to heal ourselves. It asks us to be leaders in our own healing, to take a very personal approach to healing. It's active, it's spontaneous, it's really taking action and being brave to work on our wounds and our traumas and our limiting beliefs. So during a Chiron retrograde, we might feel more emotional than normal. We might feel our core wounds come to the surface unexpectedly. We might be more introspective. So I think we really need to be aware of this and allow ourselves to process. It's kind of like for half of the year we need to do the feeling and the processing, and the other half of the year we get on with it. So Chiron Retrograde asks us to do the deep work that is required for us to heal and to keep getting through the layers of healing. It's like an onion, right? You heal one layer, but then there's another layer underneath. So by the time Chiron turns direct, if we've done the healing work that is being asked of us, we can then step into the next 6-month phase in a much stronger place, a more positive place, a more empowered place and point of view. We can turn our pain into something that can help others. So if you have a business, you can look up your business chart and look up the degrees of Aries that Chiron is retrograding through and ask yourself the question of how can my business help others to heal based on the part of your chart that you find the degrees of Aries that Chiron is retrograding through. For example, in my business chart, Chiron will retrograde over my business's natal Uranus in the 8th house. I feel like this is a strong message around using astrology to help my clients heal and process their own wounds, as Uranus, ruled by Aquarius, rules astrology and other forms of metaphysical healing. So during this time when Chiron is retrograding through Aries, we can focus on healing old wounds in our business as well. Perhaps you have old wounds around partnership. You might have had partners or investors in your business. You might have had a falling out with someone. And it's a time to really focus on healing those things so that your business can move forward. So remember, Chiron is retrograding through Aries this year. It retrogrades for half of the year. And during this half of the year, we're called inward and we're called to look at ourselves and our businesses and what may need some healing focus. If you can use this time to work on yourself or the limitations in your business, then you'll be able to merge out of Chiron retrograde so much stronger than before and ready to take on your big goals and dreams and desires. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you would like to learn more about astrology, then you can check out my level 1 business astrology certification. And don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can get all of the future videos that I record about retrogrades and other astrological events. And remember, let astrology guide you into the soul of your business.